Fair balance. The Republican who wants back in the Senate and has a pretty good shot at getting there, former Virginia Governor and Senator George Allen, on pressing the case on entitlements with colleagues so far in that body who do not seem to be willing to listen thus far. By the way, we did call George's opponent, Tim Kaine. We haven't heard back, but we did try. All right, so, Senator, Governor, Republican senators getting a rap for dodging this Medicare ball, and that's got some Republican representatives a little upset. What would you do if you became senator?
Well, I think that we ought to use the leverage of this debt ceiling vote to really get true spending cuts. I've been on the road all over Virginia this week, and a lot of people, and I think all across the country, and indeed the bond rating agencies and all the rest, realize that actions and decisions need to be made. I was reading Mitch McConnell's speech that the time for action is now, and it seems to me that he and there are some good common sense conservative members in the Senate who recognize that action needs to be taken. We have a weak economy. We are a country that is losing control of our own destiny because of our dangerous levels of debt as well as counterproductive energy policy.
But does that mean, Senator, you would include then in attaching these provisos to the debt ceiling, Medicare would be among those that you'd attach?
Yeah. Here's the things that they ought to figure out what they can agree on, whether it's Medicare or whether it is Medicaid. In fact, our Governor McDonald asked, for example, part of this Obamacare scheme, which is more taxes and more job losses, and all sorts of things that are harmful to people in the economy and the delivery of health care. They're expanding Medicaid eligibility. This is a mandate on the states. The states will have to then reduce funding for, say, higher education. I think that the president ought to act on Governor McDonald and other governors' requests that they don't force this expansion of Medicaid eligibility, which drives up the costs. I think they ought to, that's the first thing that I've been advocating for many years, and that is give the people in the states greater flexibility to fashion a program that fits our states. And I guarantee you, many states will do it right, some will do it wrong, but the ones that do it right will be emulated. On Medicare, it's also on an unsustainable path. I think Congressman Ryan ought to be commended for his courage and his thoughtfulness.
Well, he's not. You know what? And he's not by your own party, Senator, your own senators. Well, here's what I think's happening. I think you've got some divisions. You're a gentleman. You're very nice about it. But I think you guys have some serious problems in your tent. And then the House wants to go one way, emboldened by these Tea Parties. The Senate, for whatever reason, maybe they're scared off by these charges against Ryan and Medicare and these town hall meetings where people are going after Republicans, that they've just given up the fight.
Well, I think if somebody doesn't like what Congressman Ryan has proposed, come up with a better idea. Don't criticize him. And that was unfortunately, and I was disappointed in the president, who says we ought to take partisanship out of this. First thing he does is all these typical hyperbolic statements and the usual sort of scare tactics you find in politics. And so if somebody has a better idea, then say, here, this is a way that we can sustain and save Medicare. Here are ideas that where we ought to empower the people in the states insofar as Medicaid is concerned. Here are ideas that we can get our economy moving again, because part of the equation as far as a balanced budget is, yeah, you got to ratchet back the federal government spending that's been escalating. We also need to unleash our American energy resources. We ought to get our tax policies much more competitive. We need to rein in EPA. No one has elected EPA to be pestering farmers and regulating CO2 that will cause job losses and skyrocketing energy, fuel, and food costs. So there's a lot of things that ought to be done. And I actually think that this debt ceiling vote, as dangerous as some people say it is a great opportunity. It is leverage that we conservatives have to say, if you want us to vote for this, there needs to be real cuts, not fake cuts, not nice words, not platitudes, real cuts. And if you don't get it, we're not going to vote for that debt ceiling increase.
All right, Senator, thank you. We'll watch the race very closely. Good seeing you again.
Thank you, Neil. Great being with you.